Howdy folks, it's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Menace. It's the middle of the evening, and today we're doing a video on research materials and inspiration for the game I've been working on recently, Temujin's Tomb. Temujin is, of course, becomes the great Genghis Khan. Some of you may know that I'm also working on a design on the Magyars. And so I started a long road of researching the steppe peoples, the steppe nomads, and looking from the Scythians, the Sarmatians that were precursors to the Magyars, and of course, the big one, the Mongols were sort of the premier steppe nomad raiders on most people's mind. And so I want to show you some of the resources that I've been looking at. I have a whole slew on the Magyars and other early, rise of horse warfare and things like that. I'll go into those at a different time, but let me look at some of the books here. So if you want a general look at Central Asian history, world history, this is a good sort of introductory book here that covers, sort of in a short book, the broad picture of Central Asia impacting world history. Now, there's two titles here that the titles are almost identical. The Empire of the Steppes and Empires of the Steppes. This is a history of Central Asia. This is quite detailed. René Grousseau, or Grousset, I'm not sure. And Kenneth Harl, he's written a number of different books, like Roman coins and Roman economy and stuff, but this is his look at history of nomadic tribes who shaped civilization. All right, so this could get you the sort of the broad picture of, what's going on in the world from, 600 BC up through, 1230 to 1400 AD. What's coming out from the east, China, Mongolia, the Kazakh steppes, and moving westward. If you want to look specifically at the Mongols, this is a very old book here. This is a, can't remember, People, Cultures, and Ages or something series. There's many different topics to cover. This was written, I think, in the late 50s, 60s. But this is a good general introduction. If you want, there's a lot of books on the Mongols, of course, and this is just a small, selection of them. But if you want to, read particularly about Genghis Khan here, so these are two books by Jack Weatherford. So he wrote this book on Genghis Khan, the making of the modern world, and then he came out with The Secret History of the Mongol Queens, how the daughters of Genghis Khan rescued his empire. So I've not read this yet, but that'll be interesting. But I've been trying to, get tidbits around, Temujin's tomb obviously is set after, he's been buried. They've never found his tomb. And the premise of my game is that, fledgling Mongol chieftains want to rise up and attempt to maybe capture the legacy of Temujin and become a great Khan. And so they're trying to find his tomb to use that as a way to get the various tribes behind them. So aspects in this game that I'm working in, at this point it's not fully developed, but some kind of trades, some kind of affect the Silk Road. Here's the Silk Road, the cities of the Golden Horde, Silk Road, and the political economy of empire. I do have some things in the game. I'm going to jump to this atlas here. There's a very nice look here. And I'm not going to, because of course, it's a big double spread and there's going to be glare right in the middle. But this green here is showing the main extents of different parts of the Mongol homeland and its unification, and then spreading out under different of the Khans, where they ended up and at what time and their farthest extent. So here in this inset, you can see the Empire of the Great Khan, the Khanate of the Golden Horde, Chagatai Khanate, and the Il Khanate. So my game is set post Temujin, so it's in the early 1200s maybe 1230 through 1250. But if we zoom in here, I'm going to see if we can see there's some locations that are very important. So Karakorum, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to try to focus there. That is a city that was founded by Temujin, but it didn't become like the capital of the central unified, Mongol area until after him. And I represent that in my game as a special, so there's no artwork here. This is just handwritten stuff, but the caravans at Karakorum, okay? And we try to include a fair number of important, locations, a temple, a caravan, a palace of a sultan, important cities. So some of the most important cities within among are Samarkand and Bukhara, and those we can let's see if I can get it here. Is it right in the crack? All right. Here's Samarkand. Let's see if whoa. And here is Bukhara. There was also another large city at that time, Merv. Merv is now gone. Merv is near the current town of city, Mary, but Merv is no longer with us. But these are important cities. And so these are like the largest wealthy cities near the central part. So I figured these are ones within my game that if the fledgling Khanates can capture and control these, they're going to, work, when we get these keys or these quest items towards finding and unlocking the Tomb of Temujin. Now remember, this game is abstract. It's a tile laying and exploration game. It's not a historical war game, but I'm trying to inject as much history as I can into it. So this is an example of a nice map that can give you the look at the ebb and flow, the coming and going of the various khans here. All right, and there's just a couple more that we have here. Okay, actually we're down to the last one. This here, the Mongol Storm, is specific to the Mongol impact on the medieval Near East. The sack of Baghdad and the various Turkish empires and khanates that they conflicted with there, and that impact on the Near East. So this is obviously not a complete collection of books on Mongol history, but this is an example of the kind of things that I delve into to try to help inform my games. And even though, the amount of historicity in this particular game, Temujin Tomb, is mostly, flavorful, part of the theme, things that people, if they're aware of some of the history, like, oh yeah, okay, I know where that is. I know Samarkand, I've heard of that. But it's certainly not a Mongol Empire simulator or, a Mongol raiding war game in any sense like that. But now, my Magyars game, my Magyar games, it's probably might end up being a trilogy. The hope is to do that, to trace the Magyars from their early entry into, as they're getting pushed along the steppes from east to west and arrive, in the area near the Black Sea and the various other tribes that they have to fight and join with, and their long journey from their tribal nomadic into becoming eventually settling in what's modernly Hungary, and becoming, the backbone, part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and all that. So they have a long journey. So I'm still working on that game. The thing is, I've mostly been in that one stuck in the research. Well, this game here, because this was part of a 24-hour game jam, I just dove right in and came up with the theme within the first couple of hours of starting the game jam, getting the bunch of mystery components. There was, tiles and a bunch of various pieces. And so I just delved in, and, these are books that I had on hand. Some of them I have ordered since, like these two just came recently. but they sort of have the rest have informed the scope of what I'm trying to do with the game and that. So this is actually going to be kind of a shorter one compared to many of my meandering things here. I do plan on doing another video on books specifically to game design topics. One of my subscribers, Corvinus Wargaming, he commented on one of the videos like, oh, you know, that I was unboxing a bunch of books that I'm trying to organize. So he didn't realize there were so many books on game design. And I had a chuckle because that was just the smallest scratching the surface of the collection. The amount of, ignoring the amount of books I have on video game design and development, those on board game and card game design, I have a ton more. And so I'll do a video on that at some point here. So, Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness. This has been a strange little look at Temujin's tomb, the inspirations and the sources that I'm using. And again, even though it's not a lot of the history is going to be in the game, there's going to be enough to give it some flavor. And in the back of my mind, thinking like, oh yeah, I want to make a Mongol Empire, simulation game or something. But we'll see. So as I say, everyone, take care of your games, and they'll take care of you. Take care of your books, and they'll take care of your mind and your imagination. So take care all.